this has been a year full of changes and adjustment. And as always, when we move through phases where things start to change more rapidly, we also have more resistance. But the resistance is happening because we're speeding up. And part of it is reinvention, more imagination, more creativity of finding new ways to do things, because we have to speed up. And normally when we speed up, because we're all programmed to resist change, people have a tendency to create more stress. And then they retreat into orthodox ways of thinking. It could be politics, religion, and general resistance. And often we start to criticize each other instead. Criticism is not a solution. It doesn't change anything. And on a spiritual path, we have the responsibility to be extremely aware of how we mirror and what we mirror in. Remember that you have the opportunity to mirror potential. When you see someone in a behavior that would be easy to criticize, try to see where it's coming from. And if you want that individual to change behavior, you don't do that by criticizing, because when you mirror that in, you're not creating any solution. You're trying to glue that individual to that behavior and to that narrative that you are projecting. Try to open yourself up to broader perspective and say, where is this individual heading? What is the potential? And try to mirror that in. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. But then you offer a mirror that is uplifting. Today, when it comes to everything that's happening on the planet, it's easy for people to criticize. When we look at the whole environmental movement, for instance, there's a lot of people that are just screaming and yelling and criticizing without offering any solution. It's not how we lift the world. It's by being innovative, by lifting, by pointing to better solutions and better ideas. If you don't have concrete ideas on how to make things better, don't say anything. Be supportive, be nurturing. And that's what's so wonderful about this year. The collective consciousness is opening up. Humans are becoming more interested in change. They are growing out of their old ways. Just look at the work market. Many people don't want to go back to the office. They want to find a new way of working. People want more freedom. They want to find new and better ways to live, which is a good thing. We're becoming more creative and more innovative. Be part of that. See it. Don't focus on what we're leaving behind. Focus on where we're going. See all the potentials that are unfolding before our eyes. Embrace them as a person of spirit. You know that everything is changing. That's the only constant in the universe. We need to set the example of not holding on to anything, whether it's habits, manifestations, how things work, or how they don't work. Be open. Lift the world forward and be an example of how it's done. Remember that many people today are so confused because things are changing faster. We've gotten used to that through our smartphones updating all the time, but now that is happening in real life as well. It started with our devices, and now life is changing really fast, and we have to update. And we have to get used to things not being the way they were. And we're just in the very beginning of it. And as people walking a spiritual path, we have responsibility. Where there is confusion, we are to lead by example, not by criticism. And remember one principle that is so important. Everything you nurture will grow, and what you don't nurture will die. So look at your own life. What are you feeding? What you feed will grow. Often people have a tendency to feed what they don't want to grow. When you criticize something, you're feeding it. When you're complaining, you're feeding it. When you're whining, you're feeding it. When you're in a state of suffering, you're feeding it because you're creating energy. Everything you feed will grow. Be wise. Feed what you want to grow. See the potentials in yourself. Feed that. When there are things in your life you don't like, don't feed it, which means do not give it attention. Do not channel your energy in there, because that's how it continues to exist. And often we get so caught up in doing that, that our potentials die because we're not feeding them. So look at everything in your life and decide what you want to feed. And the principle, when you don't feed it, it dies. It's that simple. You never have to attack. You never have to be in conflict. When you learn to just stop your energy, it's like, I choose to channel my energy over there. It's that simple. This is also what we need to teach people in life, because the changes on this planet is accelerating. More confusion and more fear. We're feeding what we don't want. What you can do is to teach people how to feed what they actually want. If you want a better environment, feed that. Become part of the solution. Don't just scream and yell. Don't criticize. Don't blame. That's giving energy to what you claim you don't want. When we are in stress, when we are in fear, we become more binary, which means we see things black and white. We become more polarized. There's also why today politicians are forced to become more polarized. They can't really explain what they're for. They can only say what they're against. And it's all about attacking the opponent, not showing solutions. That's where we're at today, and we have to move past it at some point. Don't be part of that. Lift your awareness and be part of the solution of lifting the planet. With all this reinvention going on, are you applying that to your own life? How innovating are you in your own life? How much are you reinventing? This being part of the collective consciousness, it's easier for us as individuals to reinvent, to try new things, to move on, move out of old habits. If you recognize old beliefs, throw them away. Experiment with new ways of thinking. Try new things. Go into spaces you've never been before. Expand your awareness also as a human. Be part of life. The wonderful thing about globalization is that we get access to all the good stuff. That is what will be left. Because overall, human as a life form, want the good stuff. That's what it's about. Now there's this enormous merger going on. It will take many years. It will take more than a century. But over time, the good stuff will float to the surface and the rest will fall to the ground. I've said this before. I've compared to what's happening in the food world. We have access to all foods, all cuisines from all over the world, and we mix and we match and create even better stuff, and it's fun. That will happen in all areas. It's not a threat that you have access to food from different cultures. It makes life richer and more interesting. So it is with everything else. Don't resist it. Aim for what is good and uplifting, and just don't nurture the rest. Reinvent yourself continuously. And part of this globalization means that we always have to challenge ourselves. Am I holding back? Am I attached to ways that I've grown out of and that the world has grown out of? If I see myself as someone walking in the spiritual path, I should be a leader. I should not be holding on to whatever the world has moved on from. Be first in line. Reinvent. Inspire people to reinvent themselves and to innovate and to try new things. Do not get sucked into the narratives that produce everything from conspiracy theories to criticism and doomsday preachers. The opposite is reality, because that's part of whatever will fall to the ground. So many things of our current culture will not survive because better stuff will take over. That's the reality. Everything you nurture will grow. Focus. Be in a higher level of awareness and look at the planet from the understanding that the only reason anything is happening is to promote growth in each and every one and to assist everyone in reaching their full potential. That is the only thing that is ever happening on this planet. But in that process, we will all be challenged with our resistance, with what we need to let go of in order to grow, in order to reach higher potentials. Represent that. Be a mirror that can assist people in connecting to the bigger picture of what's going on. Do not be part of the fear. Choose love, choose connectedness, and inspire people to dream, to see that this planet is now finally moving in a direction that allows for this planet to heal. It will still take a century before we get to that level, but we've started that move. And it's simply the old ways collectively that is fighting. It's all what kills the planet that will have to go. An individual stuck in that mindset, they will squirm, they will fight, but they will lose. So don't be worried. Don't be concerned. Don't be part of the fear. Be part of the love. What is really happening is like the flowers sprouting through the concrete. Nothing can stop this unfoldment. And remember, most individuals on this planet now, in human form, have never been human before. When we look at the whole evolution of humans, it's a great chunk of all humans ever in existence that exists right now. So if you just look at it from a mathematical perspective, it's impossible that everyone on this planet today have lived as humans before. It's impossible. In fact, it's the opposite. So most of you are here for the first time, which also means that you're not limited by the culture that is, currently here. And that's also why you don't feel affected by it. You can look at it and say, yeah, we can toss that, we don't need that. You don't feel limited by human culture, limited by how things are done. You're not impressed. Many of you just look at human culture and say not interested, because you represent the future. It's like when you move to a different country and you look at their culture, you can see it, but you're not part of it. For many of you, it's like that for this planet. Which means just by being here, because you have no attachment to the past, it's easier for you to assist the planet in moving forward. You are the ones channeling the innovation. And often the ones resisting are the ones who've had incarnations as humans before, because they relate to that paradigm. They're the ones being afraid. They're the ones fighting. They're the ones moving into extremism in all different ways. You're not necessarily affected by that. So you don't have to get sucked into it. Increase your awareness of this being your first lifetime here. And see, just by being here, you are part of provoking the old paradigm. Do it more. The more we do it, the faster this process will happen. Bring in the alternative. Demonstrate it. Live it. Be that person. Never, ever criticize, because that's just blame. Show the alternative. Show what it will be like when humans are past this level. Live with that type of cohesive, solid ethics and presence, and demonstrated every day. We have to teach each other new habits, new ways of thinking, how to be human in a new way. And that's your job. For many of you, that's why you are here. It's not necessarily to do great things manifestively. For some of you, it's simply to be here as part of changing the human culture and the experience and definition of what it means to be human. In your own life, innovate, reimagine, reinvent. If you see that you repeat things, that you're in habits, to see, how can I reinvent this? How can I open up? How can I move forward so I represent the new level of being human? And then, how can I mirror this into my behaviors, into my interactions with life, so that other people might find inspiration and hope? Remember that many people who belong to the old paradigm, they can't see where the planet is heading. They have no connection to the spiritual consciousness. As someone walking on a spiritual path, we have that responsibility. We need to have patience and love with the ones in the old paradigm and completely relate to their suffering and their pain. And yet, we have to lift the planet. In the years to come, the planetary karma will increase. We are many spiritual beings on this planet assisting in this process because it has to be done. It's part of the collective education of humans. It's part of lifting the collective consciousness, because the old paradigm will kill the planet. The new paradigm is taking over because there are so many of you here now and more are coming. Gradually the transition will happen, but part of it is speeding up the karmic process and the karmic work out. Deal with your own life. Deal with your own karma. Expand your awareness. Lift your consciousness. Live every day as an example of what it means to be the new version of human, aware of their spiritual path and their spiritual purpose. The future of this planet is bright. The future of humans is even brighter. Humans will expand beyond this planet, far beyond current culture and current spiritual understanding. You are a channel. Do your job.